Welcome everybody to a video analysis video by me, Kozan. We're watching today a match between Seoul Dynasty versus the Shanghai Dragons. They'll be playing on Dorado. It's the first map they played. We'll be trying to watch mostly from Seoul Dynasty, their perspective. We're going to be passing and breaking down the game mid-match here and there. It's going to be alright. We're going to be looking at some of the decision making and trying to figure out why they do some stuff. Okay, so this is how Shanghai is set up, right? They got the tanks over here on the high ground. The rest of them are on this high ground, and the tracers guarding this little entrance over here. It's really set up in a way to stop any dives from happening on top of them, or even up on here. This area is a little bit open, while the tanks can kind of dive there towards there, and they can still shoot, but this place is very open. So I would have personally liked it better if the tracer was a little bit more playing with this area and just kind of making it more difficult to work with these areas for Seoul. And it kind of backfires on Shanghai. We'll see later on. Let's play it out for a little bit. Okay, so right off the bat, we've seen Wicked and Miro both jumping up on the high ground right here. They've seen both of the tanks and they managed to poop Roshan down. Roshan right here needs to get away because he's going to get poked soon from the people coming in from the point. He really doesn't have many good options, honestly. He could jump up here, which is dangerous because there's no line of sight blockers up here. He could jump back up there, but then he could get chased down by Zumba and have no way out because he doesn't have a jump. So instead he jumps back straight up towards his team. Alright, looking from top down, we can clearly see that Shanghai now, because of the booping of Roshan, is entirely clumped up, which is extremely dangerous because they have the Pharah just shooting rockets at this entire group. So very easy targets for the Pharah, and she still has the building over here, can kind of break line of sight. Miro and the Tracer over here, very good position. They could jump in the back if they had to. If Shanghai for some crazy reason decided they wanted to fight here, they had that option too, but he could get there. Miro could have jumped over here, jumped right on top of them. Instead, Shanghai retreats, and Seoul very smartly doesn't move into here to try and cut them off. They just carefully reposition themselves and get ready for putting their Pharah into the next location. Just wanted to point out, look at Bunny and Miro using the side of this building over here. Not going through here and being more easily poked out through that window over there. Very nice, very nice. Now look at how close Zuma stays to this wall. Very nice. Not allowing any more than necessary line of sight for his enemy on top of him. And just going to contest this area makes it a threat and poses as if they were trying to push through here. So let's look at this from top down. Again, we got the tanks over here kind of threatening this area, right? Trying to set up this area. It seems like if they would set up in this area, they kind of threaten to allow access for Bunny into this entire area behind with the big health pack, which is kind of dangerous. So they kind of pull the Shanghai tanks into this position. Now, meanwhile, while this is going on, Pharah, Wicked, and Toby are setting up over here behind this little building. They poke up a little bit at one point. You can see it a little bit in the match. They note the position of everyone over here, can relay that information to the rest of the team, and just kind of take note of that. At that point, the call is probably made that they need to target the enemy tanks because they did get pulled into this location. So the Pharah can drop down behind this little wall, line of sight the entire enemy team. Nothing over here can shoot her, and just allows the Pharah to cleanly shoot the tanks, while the tanks of Seoul are also still line of sighting everything. And well, Sen is basically here at the payload, so also very safe. Tracers up here in the little bridge area, kind of waiting for her moment for the next step in this plan. So to reiterate, here we can clearly see the damage by the Pharah having been done on Roshan, on Chushu. We see them both trying to still contest, kind of keep up with the movement from Seoul Dynasty and to rotate in and out to contest that payload. It doesn't really work though, and right now Seoul Dynasty not having taken any damage yet and already having like 3 of the enemy characters on half HP without having given line of sight at all, almost. So yeah, they go in for the dive hard here and do it very well. Unfortunately, Glhf decides to go inside here, which he gets punished for as well. So, okay. Yeah, here we can just kind of clearly see, right, the Pharah line of sight. It's very nice. Good D-Mech by Zunba on the Sushi right here. The Mini Diva, a little bit of, well, a little danger behind right now. Not too much to worry about usually. Unfortunately, we do have the Helix Rocket that's gonna hit Jaeyoung in the face, and then it does become a little bit of a danger. But straight afterwards, they do have the res in close proximity, of course, just standing right there next to him. So they're still absolutely fine to continue on fighting here. So here we're seeing Shanghai still trying to kind of rotate to contest the payload. Unfortunately, because of all that pre-damage, it's kind of desynchronized and badly timed. Of course, Glhf didn't manage to get back through here to get healed up with his mech. Already low HP before he even got to this point, and easily chased down by Zunba. After that, SHDMG kind of came in. Had to stick around a little bit too long probably, and wasn't maybe expecting Roshan to take as long to follow up after him, because he still had to go back and get healed up as well. So after this we can see Seoul will collapse straight afterwards on Roshan and the Mini Diva down there. Also trying to get a little bit closer to the Tracer Corps over here, taking this position first, just in case Mercy does try to get that res off, and they'll be ready to respond. Very nice, 2 picks right there. So very much in the favor of Seoul Dynasty right now. Even Glhf still out of mech. Well, he has it right now, but honestly he's going to try to get out as soon as he gets it though. Dija right here still kind of reluctant to get out. Even the Mercy, she's right now behind this little pillar. Soon we're going to see Jaeyoung get an amazing shot on her. Or, well, him on the Elter Ring, just because he unnecessarily pokes out a little bit. I'm not quite sure why. It just feels like he wanted to see what's going on and got punished severely. Quick note, Dia managed to get his D-Mech on Zunba, which is pretty nice. It's gonna hopefully help him out next fight, which is what they're hoping, obviously. Glhf, little thing here, he waits for Miro to jump on him on the low ground, and then afterwards he goes on the high ground. It's a little bit harder for Miro to chase him then properly. Alright, Miro taking the high ground here, not going too far. He might poke out a little bit, just kind of checking if they still have anything to pick off here with Weekid as well. Bunny, a good thing to note, just went inside a church. It's hard to point out somewhere there. He did a little blinking upwards trick. Right now he has his pulse bomb, so that's wonderful. We're gonna see Miro just kind of holding this position as much as he can. Get the enemy tanks to dive him, use some of their abilities, then they're just gonna jump out and take reposition themselves for the next team fight. So once more we see wonderful line of sighting from Weekid on the Pharah, using this entire roof, being very careful as well, trying to find out where the enemy is, checking behind him, checking on this balcony right in front of him as well. We're gonna look at how this looks from top down. This is kind of where I've seen them in the match, guys. We've got the squishies and the tanks a little bit disconnected. Shanghai, this trio here, a little bit over eager, I think, to get the battle started before Zunba, the Seoul Diva, managed to get the mech back. Unfortunately for them, the mech has just landed, so they're completely fine for this 6v6 that's about to happen. Also, if they were synced up, they've already have the Pharah and the Tracer right here to completely contest them with their ults ready as well. So yeah, it's going to be really easy for them to blow this area up and make that high ground completely solve their property instantly, basically. Instead, they're a little bit desynchronized. Bunny goes in for the squishies. Weekid instead goes for the blow up on the tanks to just get the quick finish on the on the tanks, get the push rolling again, and having a very favorable fight in that case. Obviously, if they kill the tanks here, it's impossible for their Mercy to res it, really, because it's already bombarded with people from Seoul. Okay, yeah, SH, did I already mention it? He went over here because he was a little bit low, had to get a health back, and we'll try to collapse on the backside. Unfortunately for them, it doesn't really work out, especially because right now it's a 3v4. Farah's gonna come in, gonna drop down a little bit lower, realizes that they are coming from here, probably hears it from Bunny, so drops down a little bit below this, very, very smartly. Yeah, okay, let's see this. Bam! Okay, Zumba taking down Roshan, immediately chasing up and following up after this wicked his ult. Also, down here, Shushu, we can see it very clearly. Automech. Also, what I want to point out, Bunny, very close recall there with the pulse bomb. Still managing to get it though, right on top of 5 Kings from his crazy good location he had. One thing to point out, the ults for Seoul right here. They have 4 ults left and they will not use any of them. From this point on, they will not waste them because they've already won the fight. Again, to reiterate, we can see it even clearer now. It's even more in their favor. They got the Ultra Ring used, the Mercy ult, unfortunately for Shanghai. Does go even for the 2 reses as well. Not the best, but look at how disciplined Seoul is being right here. Jaehong and Toby both know they can save Toby with the ult, but both realize they've already won the fight so heavily they do not need to commit more ults to this fight and save it for the next one, which is really important. Getting Ultra Ring here. I'm not sure if Ultra Ring is trying to get a quick respawn here, but maybe, I like to think he was. Now, before I go into the top-down view here and go over it in total view, I just want to point out again from the Seoul players, look at how deep this tracer is, how Bunny is inside of here, right? He's really inside of the door. He can only really see a small part of the high ground. If he wants to poke out to see who's there, it's just a little step and then immediately backwards. Also, the position here, really good position, just because, well, I'll go over it in the top view actually. Alright, so over here we have Bunny. The great thing about the location really is it's far away from the enemy spawn. If anybody really comes here, it most likely would be SHDMG. Instead, he's over here right now. That's alright. But yeah, if he would be coming over here, he would probably use a couple of blinks, maybe 1, maybe 2, and he would have a small disadvantage there in the 1v1. Theoretically, it's small, it's there, but it's still pretty cool. Really, Shanghai set up right now. They got the squishies over here ready to heal their main tanks that are set up over here. They maybe normally would have been on the high ground if they would have had the chance. Unfortunately for them, Wicked and Toby beautifully taking up position behind this yellow church building, shooting down rockets on whatever is in their path, so they can nicely zone out against those guys and still shoot the tanks most of the time if they needed to. Instead, what Seoul does in this position is important to note, who has their ults. And which they know about has their ults. They know that Mira has their ult. They know that Zumba has the ult. Jaehong has the ult. Toby has the ult. And they know Ultra Ring does not have an ult because he just used it. The enemy Zen probably has an ult. And Soldier also has an ult. We know this as viewers, of course. They don't know this, but they can kind of safely assume that these 2 ults are right here now. Also, the tanks for the enemy team probably have their ults as well. So how does Seoul do this, right? First of all, they get their good position, they get spread out. Miro coming in from the side here, I love this, just because obviously if they are over here, Miro comes from this side, he's gonna have less airtime within their line of sight, so he's gonna have less time where they're shooting him. And especially also, like, if he's jumping through over here, it's a lot easier to shoot a Winston, right? If he's jumping straight at you. If he suddenly jumps into your side, or he's kind of like going up and then suddenly down, it's harder to shoot him. So it's nice movement by Miro. Zumba will follow up on him. They're gonna try to force out the Zen ult, and they'll be ready with the Mercy. ults and the Zen ult of their own to respond for the soldier ults or the tank ults. So, successful on the forcing the Zen ult over there, very well done. Afterwards, we immediately saw Bunny retreating to this location, very smart. Zumba did have to use his ult though to survive, almost dies his mini. Luckily, we see Jaehong getting the orb right on top of him. Not right now, but it's there, do believe me. Miro will also in a moment jump back, body blocks for Zumba to keep him alive as the mini diva. Toby will also use his ult, keep him alive and force the fight into more their favor from this point on. This is the time when Dia ults. In response, we see Jaehong slowly, calmly moving to the point. He's going to keep an eye on the health bars right here when he needs to. He's going to pop it off right there, just making sure he doesn't use it too quickly and is inefficient with it. Finally, Jaehong uses his ult very close to the death, almost walks into that soldier ult himself. At this point, we can kind of see Miro right here. He knows the Zen got out of his ult, the enemy Zen of course, so he's jumping in there. We will also see Weekid die in a little bit due to SH DMG. Luckily for Seoul though, of course, they already have Toby in there in his ult, so he's gonna just be able to res him up. And we are gonna see Zumba going inside. He's right now over here. He's gonna go right on top of the soldier that went around after their first jump, and right now is somewhere in the main door. Zumba's gonna go on him and just keep him busy. He's gonna push him back soon. We'll watch him later on. Keep an eye on him. Okay. Right, so here we see it a little bit better. Zumba very deep, chasing down Dia. Also afterwards, after Shushu used his ult, he will also try to go after Zumba right there. Which is gonna cause two major characters not to be in this fight, basically. That is about to happen. And they already got one pick right here. Also maybe nice to note here, by the way, the blink micro management from Bunny, very nice. Keeps one in the bank just in case he needs to blink away from something that starts shooting him. Afterwards, when he gets close to this door, he just starts walking, gets close enough for a pulse bomb, blinks away once, and then he has more than enough blinks to start following up on whatever he pulse bombed in case he needs to. And he needs to in this case, and it works perfectly. So a really clean fight there in the front, specifically beautifully cleaned up as well. I want to point out Zumba only just now got D-Mac, so that's perfect timing. They've already won the fight, they got the Mercy, that's good enough. They still got most of their people alive. Well, Zumba out of mech, but that's all really, and they got 3 picks right now. Well, Zen is coming back from spawn. And because the Diva and the Soldier were out of this fight, it was very safe for Miro to just join in this front cleanup, really. He was half HP the entire time, and he just went in with a Zen orb. Seoul cleaned up pretty quickly, but still this feels like a little bit of miscommunication on whether or not they were trying to still stall this point. Seoul cruising on in here. Miro getting the final kill here on 5 King. Also, he's going to collapse on Dia pretty soon together with Weekid, who is also going to die actually to Dia. And only now, by the way, this is still the same fight from like that all the time when he used his ult and Zumba went back to chase him, right? Only now he killed him. He managed to farm up 60% ult and, since that point. But yeah, they're still fighting, and Zumba's been keeping him busy this entire time. Right now, they're just chasing along, getting the D-Mech on Shushu, really nice. And the Mercy over here, it's not really important. She's going to jump over with the Winston. Miro and Bunny are going to try to follow up on her, try to get another pick to get some more push time for the card. But it's not going to happen. They're going to fall back again. Here again, we see a beautiful retreat from Seoul. As soon as Miro jumps back, the DPS falls back with him immediately. After this, we'll also see Bunny immediately go for the right flank as they're grouped up again, trying to get as much area in that little corridor right there and just contest it. Not really looking for picks necessarily, just making sure the enemy can't take it without their knowledge. Before I go into top-down view again, I just want to point out that Miro is getting ready to dive in here. Tracer's behind him, he knows the bullets are spraying him. He's leaving her for Zumba to deal with. Right there, he's going to take more of a responsibility for that. Miro is going to be able to jump in over here. I just want to point out, like, a lot of times on ladder and some games, you just see Winston players try to go straight through, right? Just immediately from the door, take that right route, and then just go straight for it, and then jump when they're over here or something. Miro, very smartly, with the payload, goes in as far left, really, as he can. Closes up to this wall on the left as well. Again, gets healed up here, once he's here. And then he can jump with a very small, brief window of time for the enemy to really shoot at him while he's up in the air, because he still uses this as line of sight. This next attack that's coming up we'll be mostly seeing from Miro's point of view, unfortunately maybe, but he's going to be keeping busy the soldier in the center. They're going to try to dive on top of them. Meanwhile, Weekid is going to try to go in with his Pharah ult. They know that Shushu is still out of mech. They don't know that he's already remeching at this time, right up there. Bunny is also going to try to push through here with his pulse bomb. Zen and Toby, Jaeyoung and Toby are over here. They're going to get boarded by SHDMG a little bit. I don't think Zumba really dealt with them super efficiently, so it's kind of why this attack fails, because the front goes in and they haven't dealt with the Tracer yet, and the Tracer just kind of has free range there. Keeps them busy, and yeah, it's a little bit desynchronized. Also, Altering uses his ult very quickly in this fight, and we'll see, amazingly, not a lot of deaths in the fighting coming up here. Just because of Altering his ult and Shushu having his mech back, probably eating a lot of the Pharah ult. And yeah, SHDMG just keeping the back busy. A pulse on Roshan, unfortunately for Seoul, immediately countered by the res. Although I do believe it's at the end of the Mercy ult, so this res will be the one res that she does get very quickly. What I want to point out here, it's really cool. They kind of set up again for a new dive. Miro is still a little bit low. Basically what they're doing, they're buying time for the rest of the team, Zunba, Jaehyung, Bunny, and even Toby, I do believe, to chase the Tracer right here this moment. And while this is happening, Miro and Weekid will basically just kind of hug this wall. Miro's gonna shield it off as much as he can, just play ultra defensively. He's just gonna hug this little corner, and as soon as he can again as well, with another jump, if he really has to, jump that way. Try to find a new line of sight and get healed up there. A lot of cool stuff is about to happen in this last fight over here, and it happens rather quickly, so I kind of want to go over it, what exactly happens. We still see Shanghai in a very aggressive stance right here, and most likely that's because SHDMG was being chased by 4 characters, so they really wanted to pressure the front line, trying to you know, punish them for sending 4 characters onto one Tracer. But what they do, and I'm not sure if that's, you know, if it was the wisest choice, they do not have a Mercy ult, and Seoul does have a Mercy ult, so they're already at a disadvantage that way. Also, they don't have a Tracer right now, so they're already at an even bigger disadvantage. They are close to having the Zen ult, though, and they have the Soldier ult. But then again, right, the Seoul has Mercy ult, Zen ult, and they do have the Zumba ult right now. So what happens right here is kind of a misread maybe into the enemy ult from Shanghai. But what they do is they open this up with the Soldier ult still. The Soldier ult still. He uses it up there. In response, immediately afterwards, Zumba uses his ult and shoots it up here, right there, as close to this little edge as he could, and forces Soldier to react in a really panicked way, really. Either he jumps down right there, becomes a really easy target for Seoul to clean up afterwards, or he retreats. In this case, he decides to retreat, but while doing so, like, it's always a bad choice, really, but by doing so, he leaves some of his other teams stranded over here in this location. In this time, it was Altering that took cover over here, together with Roshan. Shushu could have taken cover there as well. Unfortunately, he misinterprets the read on where it will go. Unfortunately, goes up on the high ground, thinking he'll be safe there, I think. And he's not. 5 kings can hide over there easily. And yeah, like we said, soldier goes hide further backwards. At the same time, right, with the Diva all taking this position, we see Seoul immediately rush into this to go in aggressively, especially because they still have the Mercy ult. So if they do take some losses, it's fine, especially if it's like a Miro, right? So Miro can take some chances here. He pops down his bubble over there. Make sure that it's really hard for Soldier that just ran away that way to ever shoot or support his team that's now being dove upon by the rest of the team of Seoul, which is in this case Altering and Roshan, of course, that are still stuck there. And after they take those positions, it's really hard for Shanghai to ever push them out of those positions, and they just kind of lose the entire game from that point, or the entire round. Alright, I hope this video analysis has been helpful to you. My name has been Kozan. I've had a lot of fun making this. It took a lot of time. If you had you know, any use for this video, please let me know. I would appreciate it. Maybe I'll make some more if I get some good responses. And yeah, alright. Keep on learning, guys. And keep improving. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.